empowering to sleep around?
No,
why
what
is that
I'm saying is,
empowering?
like, I wonder why you have so much, like, hatred towards
I
women.
don't hate women.
Where does that root in? It sounds like
women.
you do.
I am a woman.
So do women have opportunity? Sorry, do women have equality of opportunity then broadly across Western societies?
Compared to what?
Compared to not having equality of opportunity?
Well, compared to 100 years ago, yes. Compared to 50 years ago, yes. Compared to most places in the world throughout history, yes. Compared to a hypothetical ideal, no. But I'm not very, very leery.
Would that hypothetical ideal be a good ideal or a bad ideal?
Well, it depends on how you define equality. If you define it as equality of outcome, then it's a catastrophic ideal. See, this is something too. We know that the left can go too far, and we know that the right can go too far. I mean, I would say that's the abject lesson of the 20th century. Both can go too far. And we kind of know when the right goes too far. We probably think the right goes too far, if you had to boil it down to one thing, when people start making claims of racial or ethnic superiority. That seems to be the marker. But we don't know when the left goes too far. And the left, to be frank about it, isn't very careful about differentiating itself into those who are pursuing a reasonable progressive agenda and those who have seriously gone too far. And I would say that when people push an equality of outcome agenda, they've gone too far. Even though it's not as blatantly horrifying, let's say, as claims of ethnic or racial superiority, the consequences of playing that idea out in the world are seriously not good.
Jordan Peterson challenges woke feminism by questioning the push for equality of outcome over equality of opportunity, sparking a heated debate on fairness and societal structure.
There may be lots of things that are wrong both on the left and on the right that don't involve the right being overtly racist and the left wanting absolute equality of outcome. It's a space surely in the middle that matters, and that's why I suppose people feel that sometimes your argument is almost sort of, it's driving towards picking the fight rather than liberalism would, I suppose, encourage you to take the best, and we can have the argument about what's the best and what's the worst of everything that's in between.
No,
I
think that the left poses a far greater danger than your analysis suggests. I certainly see this in the universities. And the drum is being beat very, very hard, perhaps not so much here, but in North America, for equality of opportunity or equality of outcome, under the rubric of equity. And equity is essentially a doctrine that fosters the notion that equality of outcome is not only desirable, but should be pursued as an object or as an explicit aspect of public policy. The idea being that if there isn't equivalent representation of all possible groups at all possible levels of all possible hierarchies, that indicates a tyrannical prejudice that needs to be rooted out. And that's having an absolutely pernicious effect on institutions, especially educational institutions in North America. It's an increasingly widespread view, and I think it poses far more danger than you think.
Jordan Peterson critiques both leftist and rightist extremes, arguing that chasing equality of outcome leads to societal harm. He specifically targets universities for fostering an equity-driven agenda. In a heated debate with a feminist, they clash over gender roles, the pay gap, and whether social
is it really all about their decision, or might structures not play a role here? One doesn't have to be completely mad to think this, right?
No. What you have to be completely mad is to reduce the whole thing to gender and to assume that it's a consequence of oppression. There's multiple factors at play, and prejudice is one of them. The question is to what degree prejudice, or an arbitrary categorization, let's say, and the lack of provision of opportunities for women is contributing to the pay gap, and to what degree other factors are contributing. So there's other factors. Like I said already, men are much more likely to do dangerous jobs. They're also more likely to do jobs that scale. So for example, because women are more interested in people on average than men are, they tend to work in people-oriented enterprises, and those are hard to scale. And because you can't scale them, it's harder to multiply the income. Men are more likely to move than women are. Men are more likely to take on trade positions. They're more likely to work with heavy machinery. They're more likely to work outside.
Women have lacked opportunities that they've lacked. The nudge has not operated in the same way.
See, I disagree with that. I think life is easier if you're a girl. Actually, yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits that men don't have specifically. It's usually like an excuse. Like, honestly, I think as a girl, you have equal opportunity in the world. I think there's benefits. Like, for example, we have quotas for women in specific jobs that are given to us that aren't given to men. So
the debate heats up as Peterson argues that more egalitarian societies reveal greater gender differences in interest and temperament.
So men are more interested in things than women are, and women are more interested in people than men are, on average. And those differences are largest in Scandinavia, by the way. So there's no evidence that they're socioculturally constructed. And one of the consequences of that is that if you leave men and women to make free choices...
Well, let's put aside that Scandinavia is not just one country, and it has lots of different cultural, political differences within
Sure, but the
Scandinavia.
point is that, and this is the fundamental point, is that the more egalitarian the country, the bigger the differences between men and women. The bigger.
I have no idea how one could possibly conclude that.
You rank order countries by their sociocultural policies, from egalitarian to non-egalitarian, and then you look at the magnitude of the differences in temperament in men and women in those countries.
Let's say that we decide that there are differences, and we can argue whether it's about the average. I mean, who is the average woman? Am I the average woman? Are you the
Well,
average
in some
man?
ways probably, in other ways
Yeah,
not.
Right, okay.
The debate boils down to philosophical clashes over societal roles and equality. Are outcomes driven by choice or systemic barriers? This global discussion isn't fading anytime soon. What's your take on Peterson's views? Drop a comment and join the conversation.